Mambo, habari, how are you doing? You are seriously very heartbroken. You're wondering, why did I give my heart to this person? How could he do this to me? How could she do this to me? Why would she take me as a fool? I was here all this time, loving them, taking care of them, and they disappointed me this much. I regret the day I met them. And probably you're in that situation. You hate probably the person that you allowed in your life, in your space. And you are so scared to open yourself up for another person. Let's have a conversation. How do you get back into dating after being disappointed? See you in the video. Hi, loves. My name is Ndung'u, and this is Love and Truth. Thank you for joining us. I have started by telling us that you are so disappointed and you want to get back into dating, and that can be very conflicting and very hard. Last week, before we get into today's conversation, we talked about dating with intentionality, and I know that probably you might not have watched that video, and that is why probably you're disappointed, or you're actually intentional, but the person who you gave room to just love on and be with has disappointed you by hurting you and making you feel bad because you have put an investment of time, you have put an investment of money, you have put an investment of your emotions, and that person has taken advantage of you, and now you're in a place where, how do I move on from this kind of disappointment? And today I just want us to talk about that. But check out the video that we did not yesterday that we posted right on our latest video before this one on dating with intentionality, and you will pick a thing or two that will help you even when you're coming back into dating again, so that at the end of the day we are in the same page. So karibuni sana. Today we're talking about dating after disappointments, and let me tell you the honest truth. And it's so sad. Very few, by the way, have not experienced disappointments or heartbreaks or heartaches in this life, because probably they dated the one person and they married that particular one person. And of course, it's not a lot of people that have the luck of dating one person and marrying that one particular person. So majority of us have been through that, where we have been disappointed and hurt. And of course, it can be very difficult to move forward. I remember I usually tell people that when I dated my first boyfriend, I started dating him when I was in Form 2, and we ended the relationship when I was first year of campus. So we dated for almost 4 years. The relationship was awesome. We understood one another. We liked each other. And of course, it was a very secret relationship. And I think that really helped the relationship, because a lot of people did not have any say concerning the relationship, because it was just the two of us. Majority of our friends, even his close friends, did not know, to a point that some of them actually were trying to get me to be their girlfriend, and they didn't know I was dating him. So it was a very secret relationship, and I really liked the guy. But unfortunately, when we got to uni, a lot of things were not okay, and I feel like our lives were really changed, because now we have been exposed to the university lifestyle. We are in a space where we are looking for probably different things. We are growing and evolving, and that was really a big challenge and something that really affected the relationship. And we got to a place where it didn't seem like it was making sense. Had I looked at my life and seen a future with him? Yes. And probably the relationship would have continued if we would have worked through the challenges that we had. Unfortunately, I didn't feel mature enough to do that, and I ended the relationship. And I think that majority of us think that we end the relationship because we have something else going on or another person in our lives. But for me, it wasn't about I am seeing another person, that's why I want to end the relationship with this person. I just felt like it was not a right time or the right person at that particular time to do life with. And I ended the relationship. And I'm telling you the honest truth, I was heartbroken. I broke off the relationship, but I was more hurt, I think, than he was. I didn't get to inquire what happened to him until later in life, when I was almost getting married in 2020. That is when, I think that was around 7-8 years later, that is when we had a conversation, and he was now expressing himself and being like, the way I took him for a fool, and how I took his love for granted and all those other things. And the truth is, I didn't take him for granted. It's just that it didn't feel like there was anything that would grow. I know that some of us know what I'm saying. You're in a relationship, the relationship is good, but you actually have this inner feeling, inner witness that the relationship will not go anywhere. So that's what I had, and I was really disappointed, and it took me 3 more years before I got into another relationship. And I think I was in that space of, I don't want to get into another relationship, because me, I really, I am very intentional with the things I'm doing. I didn't know that I was intentional then. I just thought I was just doing things, but I came to understand that I am very intentional. I don't just do things for the sake of doing. And yes, I might actually do something at the spur of the moment, but even when I'm doing it, I am very intentional about it. So it's like, I know what I want. I've always been those girls who understand themselves. As much as it was hard to express it, I knew what I wanted. And because I knew, it was a heartbreak for me and a disappointment, because I didn't get what I wanted. Now, I got out, and now I am single. And of course, because I'm young, I'm in my campus years. So I did 3 years of campus, the remaining 3 years, right? So second year, third year, and fourth year without dating anyone. And I think even after I finished fourth year, the first year of staying outside, I didn't see anyone, but there were people who were showing interest. I was talking to them, but I wasn't really dating anyone. I don't, yeah. So I had people that were telling me, I'm beautiful, can we do this? And I was just there telling them, well, let me observe and see. But I knew that I wasn't ready. And I told you last week that I honestly I didn't want to get into a relationship, because I felt, why was I getting there in the relationship if there's nothing that I'm getting there to do? So of course I didn't do it, because I didn't see the need of being in a relationship. And today we are talking about dating after disappointment. So I have given you one of the reasons you can be disappointed. You have been in a very long relationship that probably wasn't going anywhere, and it has drained you. So that of course disappoints you. You probably had unexpected end sometimes. Even some of us that know what we want, and then we get into a relationship, and you find out that the person you're getting into the relationship with was taking you for granted, and whatever you wanted is not what they wanted. So of course that can really be very disappointing, and it can cause you to feel some type of way. So when we're talking about disappointment, it can actually come from the fact that you had high expectations of the person you're dating and they did not deliver, or they can also come from the fact that this person took you for granted, because the investment that you put in is not the same that you got out. If, for example, you were very loving, but the person wasn't loving you back, they were taking advantage of the fact that you love them, so they were cheating on you, because they knew this one, even if I do whatever I can do to them, they will not leave. And I know that there are people who are there, especially men, have that tendency of just saying, this one will never leave me, so I will just treat her like trash. And it happens, but at the end of the day, you are very disappointed, and it can cause you to be scared to move on, because you're like, I will probably get a replica of what I had. I might get a worse person than that one. So majority of us choose to stay in a bad, abusive relationship, because in your head you're like, I would rather stay with the devil I know than the angel I don't know, right? And you stay there, and you're heartbroken, and you're disappointed, and a lot of things are happening in your life, and you're there thinking, let me just tolerate, because if I get out, if I go, nothing will change, or I'm going to a worse relationship or something of the sort. So disappointments do happen and they're there, and I'm sorry if that is a place where you are at the moment, even when you're listening to this video, because whatever I'm saying probably might not heal you. I'm so sorry that someone took you for granted. I'm so sorry that it happened to you and not to someone else. I'm sorry that that particular person that you loved was the one who put you through the things that they have put you through. But I also came to tell you that there is another day, and there is another person, a better version probably, who will treat you better. Now, disappointments can cause us to be victims of our own circumstances and cause us not to want to move on. Or that heartbreak can cause you be like, all men are, we have had girls who are ever preaching that all men are dogs, because she experienced a dog and she thinks that now all men are dogs. But there are good men, there are good women. Not all women are prostitutes, not all women are whatever it is. So of course all of us have our own perspective depending on our experiences and depending on the experiences of the people we have allowed close to us. So that can also cause us to be very very scared and skeptical to get into dating again. So how do you date after disappointments? The first thing you need to do is probably heal, because if you don't heal, you will always see a flaw in the other gender, and that will hinder your full experience in terms of loving people genuinely, in terms of you dating genuinely and enjoying even the space. I know that not all relationships that you will get yourself in will lead to marriage, but what I usually tell myself is, did I enjoy the process of dating that particular person? Did I enjoy the process? Did I feel loved? Did I feel cherished? Because that is something that I need to make sure that I felt as much as the relationship ended, so that at the end of the day I won't have so much regret of investing my time, investing my emotions and resources in that particular relationship. So that is also another thing we need to put into consideration, that you enjoy every other relationship. So dating after disappointment can be easy when in every other relationship you have healed. Then you will experience a maximum exploration of emotions in terms of like, I love genuinely because I healed when I was getting into this relationship, so I'm not coming to experience some form of pain or anger issues that are coming or brewing from my past. The other thing is also working on yourself, so that you make sure that by the time you are getting into another relationship, you are a better version of yourself. Every other person we interact with teaches us to be better or bad, right? Because how you encounter them, how they treat you, make you either become a better version of yourself or a worse version of yourselves. But you can actually use your relationships to invigilate and examine your life and be like, okay, I have a weakness here. I actually am very quick tempered. I'm actually A, B, and C. So what can I really do to improve myself, so that in the next relationship I am a better version? So dating after intentionality is more or less making sure that you're completely healed and you're feeling in the space where you can actually handle another person and another relationship and the roller coaster that comes with dating that other new person. Okay, so the other thing is also forgiving the person that hurt you and forgiving yourself for making the mistake of dating that particular person. If you do not forgive yourself, I usually tell myself, I forgive myself for allowing that person to take me for granted. I forgive myself for allowing that person to waste 5 years, 3 years of my life. While I was loving them, they were taking advantage of me. Marion, I am sorry I allowed you to experience that person because I didn't know any better. But now I do. The next minute, the next person, I will do better. And while I am talking about doing better, then it causes me to open my eyes and be very careful with myself. I set boundaries that are good for me, not boundaries that will cause me to have formed a wall that makes me inaccessible or become emotionless. No, boundaries that actually make me be better and do better, and also prevent myself from being more hurt than I was previously. So dating after disappointment can be very difficult. It can cause you to have very to set up walls and boundaries that are not healthy, and you need to be very conscious so that you make sure that the boundaries you're setting are healthy ones and not negative ones. It can cause you, by the way, to be very shy and very scared of exposing yourself and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, because probably that is what the other person used against you, or exposed, or misused you, because you opened yourself and allowed them to see your vulnerabilities. So it is very important to just be in a place where you heal, so that all these things are things that, as much as you will have to repeat again, you now know how far is too far for you, and for the conversations that you will have with a person who is not your spouse. Because of course, when you're dating, there are things when you expose to someone, they will run. Okay, so be also very careful with the kind of information you're sharing with people, because at the end of the day, when you are done with a relationship, probably if it doesn't end up well, then they can actually spread some of the things, and you don't want a lot of people to see. We have seen in relationships where after they break up, you see people putting receipts out there: he was an abuser, he was this, and probably they will put some of the weaknesses that you have, that you hid, or you confided with them in secrecy and in privacy, when you're trying to be vulnerable to them, and they use it against you. So you also have to be very intentional about that. Well, it's unfortunate that even in marriages we experience those ones after we some people are so bitter, so they will expose their significant other just because they want to spite them. But of course, those are chances that we need to take, and we are praying that we will get people who will not expose us. So dating after disappointments, I promise you, I am concluding this video. It won't be easy. It will require a lot of grace and a lot of courage for you to decide, by the way, you know what, even after the pain, even after someone else betrayed me, I am actually opening myself up to go and just expose myself to another person. And you're not very sure if this other person will be better than the previous. They might actually be pretending. So you are always in that place of just worry. But the good thing is, if you are prayerful, pray concerning your life and pray for your heart, so that you heal. And then you pray for the persons that you are going to allow yourself to interact with and just expose to your life to, so that there are people who will not disappoint you, that God will give you the right people that you can actually date, and date intentionally. And as I've said, it can be a good person who will not end up being your spouse, but at least he's good enough for you to know that at the end of the day, after this relationship is over, I know that my information and my secret things will not be heard on social media. He's a good person. So even as we ended the relationship, we ended in a mutual agreement where we both saw that this relationship cannot work. So bye bye and bye bye, and both of us agreed, and we ended peacefully. So of course, when you're dating after disappointments, those are some of the things that you need to be very careful about. And please, as I finish, let me insist on setting healthy boundaries that will help you, so that you do not get disappointed again. And please take care of your heart, because out of it proceeds the issues of life. And it is very important to make sure that your heart is safeguarded, regardless of what you're going through. Thank you so much for joining us. And before I finish, I just want to ask you a question. Have you dated and you have been disappointed? So how did you come out of that disappointment and decide, you know what, I'm opening myself up again. I need to date. I need to go out here and just be loved and love other people. Can you please tell us some of the things that you did, that we can actually try and see if the people that have been disappointed that will get to watch this video can read your comment and be like, oh, I am encouraged. If she went or he went through this and he overcame, then I can actually now open myself up again to love someone else as much as I was disappointed. So thank you so much for staying tuned. My name is Marian Mikali. Until next time, bye-bye.